Willkommen zurück zu Head as Code. Im letzten Part ist eine Menge gelaufen, das nicht gut war. Erstmal kam Ray in die Lobby mit dem Kopf von H, dem Kopf. Nicht dem Körper, dem Kopf. Ich wiederhole nochmal. Dann hat er komplett panisch reagiert und wurde von G auf dem Boden getackelt und in den Kampf ist die Waffe losgegangen. Und er hat G getroffen. Und zwar in die Brust. Und nun ist G mit Jasmine auf dem Weg ins Krankenzimmer, während I und A weiter zum Theater fahren und Marco und ich, oder Marco und Simon so gesehen, Marco und S hier bei der Kirche sind, aber nicht in der Kirche, sondern im Lobbyraum. Okay. Okay. Kann ich hier raus wieder? Weiß gar nicht. Okay, Fenster. This was our way out. On the door was a window. That makes sense. We get out of here when we would win, not when we would lose. That's why it's called a window and not a lose woe. God. Wow! That was a shiny surface. At first I thought it was a support beam, but upon pressing my hands onto it, it felt more like a large vibrating tunnel. Maybe it was for air conditioning? Strange, there was nothing connected under the station or above except for the room we'd have to explore there. I already tried exiting by entering the code 42069, but it didn't work. I was out of ideas. Hi, Marco. In the end... Oh, nee, warte. Nein! Ah. In the end, I decided to call for Marco. Hey, you finished yet? I understood he couldn't hear me, so I left my post and went upstairs. I found him in the church. I told you to explore the other side, didn't I? Yeah, you did. And I did too. I realized there was nothing really important there, so I left and came up here to meditate a little. You? Meditating? Surprising? I figured it would be. Anyway, look at this place. It's big, isn't it? It's just what it says to this tin. It's a church. I can see that. Explore this place, any of them. Not yet. I was waiting for you, like a good companion. I could have shaved off some time if I went and did some of this on my own, but I thought it would be better if I did alongside you. I had to diffuse this little joking mentality he kept relying on while we were in here. This isn't funny though. None of this is. We're stuck here and we can die. How can you think of any of this is funny? Well, to be honest, I don't think that. I'm just optimistic. At least I try to be. This place is really hard, you know. It's suffocating me a little. No, we can't just go outside. Yeah, that's rough. You get me? You understand what I feel about this place, right? I do wish I could get back outside, like Ray wished to. But until we're outside, I can't let it drag me down too much, or else I'm gonna drink myself unconscious in the lounge and be useless. So that's why, if I want to win, I have to work hard. It's the same for life too. There's so many people who try doing something or another, and they just fail. They just don't reach the goal. What's that? They gave it an honest shot, but it's not because they didn't manage to do it that they failed. Failing isn't the act of falling down, but staying down. It's just like the little green man said. You either succeed or you fail. There's no trying to do something. You either get back up and work harder, or you stay down. I see. I thought I understood Marco before, but perhaps this was more useful than any gaming session we've ever had together. Marco relied on his humor because he needed it. If that was the crutch that kept him up, what was mine? Jasmine's face flashed in my head. Was it Jasmine? No. Was it the knowledge that I could make it out with my friends alive if I gave enough effort? Here we are, in a church, thinking about these silly things. We both know enough about religion that I'm sure you can understand how ironic that is. Yeah, the church has been used for a long time as a means to stifle progress. Witch hunts, for example. Or better put, the idea that you have to put down anything and everything you can't personally explain. Something like that. Which is why I don't like being in this place. I know. Even with that, I think I'm okay being here. There's a part of me that resonates with the God. Here we go. The Evangelist. Evangelist? Evangelist? Weiß nicht. Soon you knock on people's doors to deliver unto them the word of the Lord. Nothing like that. He put his hands on his pockets, and we both contemplated the room. It was spacious, as we previously ascertained. I had no idea how this could be underground. This is the church. It's kind of weird that it's here, underground. Churches have a right to go wherever they want to. They're human, just like you and I. I was just wondering how exactly they managed to build this underground. It's pretty big, even if it looks smaller than the churches I've gone to in the past. How many was that? One. He shrugged, as if that proved the point. Fair. That was only one church, so I was no expert on anything. Silently, I already began to explore the room. I decided to follow his lead and go for it too. Yet, before I could make any movement, a strange feeling took hold of me. It was a bit of a flashback. Somehow I felt like I had been here before. The solution to this room, I knew it. Oh, dankeschön. Oh! I knew what to do. My head lifted up a little. In a daze, I stared upwards at the arcs near the ceiling. There was a lever. There was something hooked onto the arches. How did I know that? I whispered to myself, trying to make sense of it. This is weird. I don't feel too good all of a sudden. A headache. Just as quickly as this pain surged my head, it went away. Within moments. I forgot what I was thinking about before. I did see the thing hooked upon the arch, though. How weird. Have I ever come here before? I think I know if I visited more than one church. Is this the church I visited then a long time ago? Hey, S. Let's get a move on. I'm not gonna do your homework. Coming. I shook off the terrible feeling, making sure Marco didn't hear anything from me other than that. The last thing I wanted was to burden him even further. As I stepped further to the church, I couldn't hide my sudden unease. Marco noticed my remark pretty quickly. You okay? Wanna sit down for a bit? No, I'll be fine. I must be allergic to the clergy. Then you be a clergic. The corner of my lips twisted up into a grim smile. I understood he wanted to cheer me up, and despite my current state, I gave in and sat down at the bench. It wasn't comfortable. As I leaned back, I focused on what we could search around the room. Ich war schon mal hier! Nein, nicht schon wieder! Oh, ich hasse es. Also immediately, my gaze crossed the shape of a strange object hooked onto the arch. This is... The feeling from before came back, harder than ever. It was punching my brain inside of my skull, as if my entire self was being squeezed by a vice grip. It's back. Are you okay? You're seriously worrying me right now. I could hardly see him anymore. The room was spinning. Everything was moving as if it was made of water. This otherworldly feeling overtook me, and all of a sudden, I knew what to do. Did you do anything yet? No. I've just been standing around worried like crazy. Even if I'm not crazy. Okay, go to the back of the church. He moved away from me. I watched him shrink into the wavering surface of my vision. He stood there, waiting for me to talk again. No, the altar. There are some great gears. Gears? I don't see any gears. This is a bona fide altar. It's flat and elegant. No, not on it, but inside. I can't open this. Oh, I forgot. How do we... A flash coursed through my head, like a bomb exploding in mid-air, right over my brain. It was as though every little atom that made up my nerve system caught on fire. I saw the church. I didn't know who I was accompanying, but there was someone else there. Was it Marco? Was this him with me? Andersrum, me with him? No. I couldn't be sure for both. This wasn't in my memory. I'd never come here before. And yet, I was seeing as if I was living in real time. That never happened. It couldn't have happened. Is this déjà vu? Ugh. Okay. Simon, get a fucking grip. I grabbed onto the bench and slowly lifted myself up to my feet. I forced the vision to go away. Marco watched from afar, worried just like before and unsure if he should have rushed in. I moved out of the rows of benches only to trip on the side. Ugh! Hey man, you really don't look good. Maybe you should take a nap somewhere. He swiftly rushed over to me, extending a hand to help me back up to my knees, and then to my feet. I oscillated a little, like a zombie. With one hand on the corner of the bench, I steadied myself. I'm fine. It's just weird. And I can't stop thinking about the fact I know what to do here. Maybe you already came to this church outside of this place, hon. Maybe you have been here before. I've never been here.
I'd know if I went to a church made for a group of cultists. I gave a nod towards the large altar in the back with a symbol engraved into it. There's not a noble cross. That thing was in Smiley's clasp, wasn't it? It was used to hold this outfit together.
You're right. There are only two possibilities then. One, you've been here before, but you forgot. Maybe you came here when you were a baby. Two, you're having a vision of the future.
Stop joking around.
I'm serious. You say you know how to solve this, right? What if you had a vision of the future when you solved it?
So you're saying,
if you retrace your steps, maybe it'll go away.
I nodded. That made sense on a stupid level, but it was my only recourse. I shakily walked to the altar and leaned forward over it, hands flat on the surface for support. First, the pulpit.
You want me to pop it?
No, the lectern. That's a pulpit. I walked over to it and looked at it. Sure enough, the instructions were on it. I knew what they were and I knew what the answer was. I only looked at it because this was the first step. Still shaking a little, I vacated the pulpit to head to the back instead. Slowly, I pressed some switches position on the stained glass. First the diamonds, then the hearts. Then the hearts again, finally the clubs. Each time I activated the card suit, the feeling we were solving the room correctly grew strong with me. As I finished this entrance sequence, the back of the altar opened.
Wow, there are a few gears in there. How'd you know?
The vision, or whatever it is. I glanced over to Marco to share with him the next part of the solution. In his eyes, I didn't see the same kind of warmth as before. Did you think I was Smiley? I can tell you're thinking something wild.
I mean, can you blame me? You're having vision of this and that.
So it was a joke earlier.
I mean, yeah. Visions from the future does exist, and I know you've never come here. So what's up with that then?
Fuck if I know, Em. I don't have a clue either. Just do something, do somehow.
Can't blame me if I think you're suspicious then.
Marco. I used his name instead of his nickname. I hope he would understand I wasn't joking. I'm not Smiley, okay? The last thing I'd want is to put you and everyone else in danger. I have no motive, and I certainly don't have access to anything that would allow me to change all these stations.
I mean, that's a bad excuse. Of course the person who organized all this wouldn't be someone we suspect.
If that's your train of thought, why couldn't you be Smiley then? I took a break from the solutions to sit down at the edge of the altar.
I see what you mean. I guess I can't prove it either. Not to bother.
Listen, Marco, you and I, we're not linked in this place, right? He paused when I asked him, as if he was hesitating. Right? You're not in the cahoots with Smiley, are you?
I guess, technically speaking, if you're Smiley, I'd be in cahoots with you. But no, I don't have anything to do with Smiley. What good is my word anyway?
This could go in circles for a while. Did I trust Marco? Could I trust Marco? I didn't know. The more he spoke, the more he accused me of being Smiley. The more it felt like he was diverting my attention. The more he was trying to prove he wasn't Smiley either. Did I trust Marco? I trusted Marco before. I figured he would have no role to play in this game. Did my stance change? With this paranoia? This feeling of helplessness engulfing me from head to toe. The idea that someone I trusted before would betray me so much. The despair. I couldn't tell if it was a weird conspiracy or if it was making up in my head. My unfocused eyes were lowering down, staring at the ground before long. Was Marco Smiley? Suddenly, something brought me back to reality. Marco grabbed my shoulders and shook me gently.
Hey, are you listening? You look totally out of it.
Sorry, I was...
I can tell you're getting hung up over it. I don't want our relation to be bungled up by this, okay? What I feel deep in my heart is...
He paused again as if he was going to say something that had been weighed on him for a long time. Maybe he was searching for words. Yeah, it took about a half a minute before he spoke again.
Listen, if you say you're not Smiley, I trust you. But if you were, I'd follow you anyway. I don't claim to understand what you'd be thinking, why you did all this or how, but if you were, I'd still follow you. Whatever this is, there must be a good reason, and if you're Smiley, then that reason's important to me too.
And you want to go back on that?
No, sir. I have decided to put my trust in you, sir.
Stop calling me sir. What am I, a general?
Yes, sir. If you order me to go die for you, I go die, sir.
Okay, fine then. Since you're deciding to put your trust in me, I'll put my trust in you too, Marco. I trusted you and Smiley either. I held out my hand for him to shake. He stretched out his hands too, and before he could have any time to pull it away, I grabbed it to shake it.
Oh man, I want to do a quick trick on you.
You want to remove your hand before I took it, right?
Yeah, I'm so transparent.
Nope, you're not a ghost. We both laugh it out. Yeah, I decided I could trust Marco.
So, what was the next part of your so-called vision?
Clearly, we need to move to gear. This gear. It's immobile and it can connect that one over there. I stood back from the altar and showed it to him. Afterwards, I motioned to a pot of incense on one of the side altars. Marco went over to it. It's in there. We don't need the incense so empty that stuff if you want. He turned the pot over and with a clink noise, the metal stick fell down to the ground. Marco grabbed it and flung it over to me.
Yeet! Let's go, sir.
I caught it effortlessly. I operate the machinery. And just as I saw in my vision, the side of the altar and the bag opened. The small depression revealed a terminal with a bunch of numbers on it.
The password, if I had to guess. Let's try it out.
Yeah, but for that... The room was moving again. My headache come back.
Want to sit down again?
Yeah. It'll take just a short moment. I remained at the church while Marco walked out of the room. I assumed he went down to both sides of the station below, unlocking doors for escape. He came back up after 2 or 3 minutes. I remained seated for a bit, which invited him to take one next to me.
You
know, this church, it's not really a real church, is it?
What do you mean?
It's probably a replica. That's why I've had that vision. Maybe it's replicated from one of the real escape rooms I've done before. Maybe that's where Smiley's getting his ideas. From real escape rooms.
No, they're usually more complicated. This feels like just an excuse to stuff 2 people into a room. You know, like when teens played that game where 2 people are going to the wardrobe?
I guess. It's true they're not very complicated. Sure. Total einfach. I let my eyes wander the room again. I felt much better after sitting down for a bit. I hope this headache won't come back either. Despite our thorough search of the place helping us with its familiarity, and the fact it was without a doubt a replica, this place was still intimidating.
Hey, I guess it's just kind of random, but do you believe in God?
Nobody really practices anymore, and most people seem to have become atheists now, so probably not. I guess I don't.
Well, maybe I do, but it's not this simple. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a man of science, but for some reason, I wholeheartedly believe in God.
That did surprise me. I remained quiet since he quickly added onto the subject.
Before you think I'm some kind of silly boy with beliefs that can't be proven one way or the other, I don't believe God made the world in 7 days and all that kind of stuff. Those are just tales or metaphors. I'm just saying God probably exists on a whole other level than humanity.
As if illustrating the concept, he was gesticulating with his arms as he spoke.
How to say it as? Maybe God doesn't even create because he has a will to do so. Maybe it's more like unwillingly? In a way, thinking about it like that, all of us might be God. It's all about the perception of existence. It's a theory that says, actually, I'll just do the simple part first. You remember in school, maybe someone told you one day about a tree? If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to see or hear it, did it fall? That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I thought es gesagt. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to see it or hear it, did it fall? That kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. The perception of existence would then say that this tree never existed. By this tree, I mean not only the tree, but also the result of this action. Let's say if it fell down, and because of that, some ants had access to the tree, and eventually the colony would thrive. Take over the forest and become a hive mind bent on killing us for some reason. That would also be the result of the action, and count as the tree fell in the forest. I'm talking galaxy levels of possibly never witnessed. If a planet collides with another somewhere 20 billion light years from us,
and those debris never get to us and never affect us, then it's like it never existed. Am I following that correctly?
Yes, exactly. That's what this belief stems from. If God doesn't see something, then it's something doesn't exist. But if he sees it, then it confirms that existence. And that's how God creates, basically. Because God observes us, then we are.
Well, that's an idea, I guess. I didn't really believe in it, despite Marco's insistence.
Listen, I just don't really know where this belief comes from. It's just something programmed in me at this point. I don't know why, I just feel it.
Mein Hals.
I guess it's because I think it's actually the other way around. God exists because we do. Imagine that tree again. For it to fall, it has to be witnessed at some point, or the result of it falling need to be at least. We're just lucky that we happen to be the ones who need to observe, or be observed. If it was anybody else, like an entire other race or some other planet, then we might not exist.
Yeah, that's exactly a wrench new idea. Why is it us? We might not be the only sentient life in the universe.
I guess it's us because it's how it happened. Higher beings are probably watching us at this very moment. Maybe even literally higher beings. Maybe they've got cameras on the ceiling here.
I elbowed him after he gave this long, serious spiel, only to finish it off with a stupid pun. He coughed and smirked while half bent over.
Worth it.
No, it's never worth it, you idiot. God or not, we have to get out of this here anyway. This place having a church still felt so odd. Why was that? I was interrupted in my thoughts when he stood up, nodding at me. After awkwardly strolling through the main room, we made our way to the outside hallway, and finally down the stairs. The train was taking its time. I figured it would, but this was unnaturally long. How long has it been?
Few minutes. You gotta get back to the lounge. We gotta tell him there's a weird church here.
It's probably a fake one. Say, I think Ray went off on his own, and that's why the train's taking forever.
I don't think so. What if another team finished?
That reasoning was sound. The question was, who would be fined here? Jasmine or the eccentrics? I had a bad feeling all of a sudden. I immediately thought of Jasmine alone, as if I never believed the twin had any chance of survival in the first place. Hey! The train arrived before I could chastise myself. We both stepped in. It seemed like whatever Smiley set up was good enough to be somewhat punctual. Maybe it was finely tuned. Maybe he was driving the train himself. Oder auch nicht. Ding dong ding. Nah, that would be stupid. I couldn't even properly see into the driver's cabin. If he drove, he'd have to see, no? Otherwise the train wouldn't stop when it needs to.
Hey, think Smiley's one of us?
He might be the ninth person, or even Ray. Remember, Smiley is that recording they fed to us. What he spilled did match him, but maybe they want us to think that.
What says it's a video too? Maybe it was weird time. Maybe Smiley isn't even one of us, and they're just looking at us from the shadows, laughing at our incompetence.
Yeah, maybe. I have to think about it some more. Let's talk about it later, after we find some sort of clue. Marco climbed up, and so did I. The train was going steady. We didn't say anything else again until it arrived at the launch. The moment Marco and I stepped out the train, we heard a noise from upstairs.
That sounds like something fell hard. Is Ray still up there, you think?
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. It's like a fight. We both looked at each other and hightailed it out of the station. Oh, 9! Quickly, we went through the little lobby and up the stairs. I'm gonna die! I'm gonna fucking die! I'm gonna die, and you're gonna die too. Everyone here is going to die. The words of that unstable man reached my ears as I got to the lounge proper. The situation quickly came to view. It wasn't pleasant. Jasmine had her back against the wall and Ray was yelling, holding her at gunpoint. Fuck. I knew I should have insisted earlier to take it from him. I cast a glance over to Marco. He didn't look too happy either, but there was little we could really do in this situation. Jasmine noticed us.
Run away, you fucking moron! Run away, you fucking morons! One is gonna kill you too.
I'm not leaving you here.
Stay out of it and run.
My words caught Ray by surprise for a moment. Ah, it doesn't matter, they're dead too. We're fucking dead here. We're dead mean, man walking. Fuck Smiley, fuck you too, and fuck you Griffin too. Oh! Oh hey. When we managed to get his attention, Jasmine leaped at him. The man fell under her weight. I froze up, unsure of how to handle the situation. If we got too close, it would be dangerous. Marco didn't seem in a hurry to help either, far too content not putting himself at risk. I had to do something else.
Ah!
Fuck. Suddenly, Jasmine slammed her forehead against Ray, causing him to grip his gun tighter. Don't! Just before Ray passed out, he fired a shot. I saw Jasmine's body tremble from the movement. She winced at me with her teeth clenched. The gun got her. I went forward. Everything seemed to have slowed down around me. Like the twin. Maybe she could be safe too. Damn it. This always happened because of Ray. I fell to my knees and grabbed Jasmine's body. I pulled her from Ray, and she rolled onto her back, looking up at me. I could tell she was dying much faster than the twin. Emma!
I didn't manage to save her, so this is my atonement.
Fuck no. Not you!
He got my lung, I think. Or something like that around there. Hey, would you do me a favor?
What? What is it? I put my sleeve up to my face. I wiped my eyes clean so I could see properly. Damn it. Was it my fault? Du hast eine Waffe, nutz sie! Maybe I couldn't hear fast enough.
Don't blame yourself and take off my collar.
Oh? That's going to...
I'm already gone, so just take it off after I end.
And with that, just like that, her body shut down. My hands gripped against her back, but I couldn't feel anything. Not to break the moment, but Ray's going to wake up anytime soon, so we should probably get a move on. Right, just... I can't do it.
Can't do what?
Take her collar. I can't do it. You do it. I have something else I have to take. I delicately deposited her body next to Ray's. Marcus set off to work. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw that the collar came off without triggering any laser. Maybe it knew when it's where I was dead. On the other hand, I had the choice either to yank Ray's collar and behead that son of a bitch, or... No, my hands were trembling. I was too much of a good guy. I wouldn't kill. I gritted my teeth. I wanted to, but doing it was just... no. Instead, I was going to punish Ray otherwise. I took his gun. In my bag now, I had 2 guns. I should have pulled it out on Ray. Yeah, actually! I would have had something to stop him. It was my fault. I stood up with Marco.
You gonna carry it everywhere? Maybe we need it later.
Okay, well, whatever. Here, have this too then. I handed the gun over to him. He looked at it with surprise before taking it hesitantly.
What about you? What do you have?
I got one from earlier. I took it out of the bag to show him. I knew they were dangerous though. This was just protection until I managed to find a hiding spot for them. No one else should have been able to make use of them. Silently, we both went down the stairs to take the train again. I broke that silence in a few moments later. We should get rid of these damn guns.
Why? I know you're upset about her, but
don't you get it? The reason why she's dead is because someone kept one. It's too dangerous. This kind of bullshit shouldn't be in the metro in the first place. What would you think if Ray overpowered me later and then decided to grab my gun and shoot me?
I guess you do have a point. Why not just off him then? That seems simpler.
I want to do it because I just don't, okay? Once we were both inside the train, it set off again. Hey, Sicherheit! Okay, ich beende den Part aber hier, weil das ist ein guter Punkt dafür eigentlich. Und beim nächsten Mal gucken wir, ob wir da lebend rauskommen mit Marco. Weil Jasmine ist schon raus, von daher, doof. Wir werden sehen. Gut, ich danke euch fürs Gucken und dann bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye!